Go ahead.
We're here looking at Sexy Rexy's feet. Hopefully he's going to get a touch-up trim and then fit him with some boots and studs and he'll be ready to rock and roll on the ice and snow.
We're here with Dana and Mark at the ranch up in West Bank with Sexy Rexy, as you know. So you know the horse is real. We're just going to zone in on what Mark is doing here. Mark, tell us what you're doing there with the feet.
Well, we're just cleaning it up first. Have a look here. He's got really quite nice feet, so we're just going to do a little bit of a touch-up on him.
Now, is this considered a barefoot trim?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nothing else.
And you prefer the barefoot trim, do you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, for a horse like Rex, he's never had shoes on his feet. Is that what you prefer, is bare feet and leave him that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if he's at the point where he's not comfortable with it, we're going to throw some boots on him.
Okay.
But he's a little bit flat-footed.
Okay. What would you prefer?
As far as
you're talking flat-footed, is there different types of feet you have there?
Well, once we get him trimmed up properly and he moves out for a while, he's going to gain some concavity in the front of his foot here.
Okay.
Because he's really quite flat right now.
Okay. Now, Mark, how long have you been doing barefoot trimming for?
Oh, we've been into this for about 12 years.
12 years? And where did you start?
Where?
Yeah.
At home.
At home? Okay.
At home with my own.
So flat-footed, what you mean is flat-footed on a horse, not like Dana's feet?
Right.
Okay.
Feet change, they're very dynamic. They don't always stay what they are today.
So what we're doing with him here right now is putting a little arch in his foot like you and I have.
Okay.
And that will help his foot expand when he loads it with weight and get some movement, get some better blood flow going.
And blood flow is important, why?
It grows a bigger, stronger hoof. Keeps their feet warm in the winter time.
Okay. Now, is blood flow, humans don't have blood flow in their feet. So what's the difference between the importance of...
We don't have blood in our feet?
No, on our nails, I'm sorry. So blood flow in our nails. So why would it be important for horses to have blood flow in their hoofs?
What it does is it improves the blood flow in the connective tissue, which joins your hoof wall.
Okay.
Your foot.
Yep.
So it grows a nice strong connection.
And a lack of blood flow, what happens? What's the downfall?
Weak connection, then he gets separation, where he has a little bit right here, where you can see.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit, but not bad at all.
Okay. Is that correctable?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing right now.
Okay. Now, I've heard some stories about, horses actually being healed from separation or laminitis or...
Oh yeah, all sorts of things.
Okay.
That was thought couldn't be healed or healed now, so...
Yeah.
I mean, this whole barefoot thing has been growing over the last 10-15 years.
Yep.
And there's been studies done, and more all the time, and we're gaining knowledge all the time, and learning more all the time, and beautiful. And the more we learn, the better we are, we hope.
Right. Okay. So
you
you and Dana both ride bare feet, is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Any negative towards bare feet, do you think?
Well, I think if people don't understand the whole concept and the fact that you need the exercise and you need the proper diet and everything to go along with it, then it can be an uphill battle.
Okay. So the horses have to eat differently if they're going to be bare feet?
Well, it depends what they're eating right now.
So Dana, is there a different diet for barefoot horses versus horses they say have shoes?
No, but what happens is when a horse is barefoot, his body is more revealing of what's going on.
Okay.
The feet reveal more of what's going on in the body than if the horses were in shoes. If they're in shoes, a lot of things are masked. Doesn't mean it doesn't affect the body. It means that it's masked, and being that it's masked, you can't actually effectively deal with it. So a horse should be fed in the direct proportion to the amount he's getting exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So if your horse is not doing a lot of exercise and you're feeding him a rich meal, you're really doing a disservice to his liver and if he's getting too much protein, then it's hard for the body to deal with that. Too much sugar is one of the biggest factors, simply because of hays and grasses today. They're genetically modified to be rich in repeating grasses, which is usually too much for most horses.
Right. Okay. Let's go back to Mark here and see what he's doing on the foot. Now you've done the first foot, right Mark?
Yep.
Okay, we're doing the same repeat on the second?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Just taking him from where he was and just adjusting his trim a little bit.
Yeah. So how does this foot look compared to the first one you did?
Good.
Yeah.
About the same. Whoever was trimming them before was pretty consistent with what they were doing, so it's about the same. Just we just do it a little different.
Yeah. Anything you can point out that's different from what you're doing now?
Well, he's been trimmed barefoot, which is basically a pasture trim.
Yeah.
And it's basically flat.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put an arch in his foot right through here.
Okay. So why the arch?
Well, the arch lets his foot expand and contract more when it's weighted.
Okay, right.
So that's where you get your blood flow.
Now I heard about that. The more blood flow, the better it is on a horse's feet because of less toxins, or it gets rid of toxins easier.
Oh yeah,
correct?
It flushes everything, so it's all good.
Okay. And apparently the barefoot acts as a second heartbeat for the horse. Is that right?
Well, there's some people say a horse has 5 hearts.
Yeah.
You know, the one in the chest and one in every foot, because if your hoof is functioning properly, it's pumping blood back up the leg.
Right.
So it's helping metabolically for your horse too.
Right.
Which is why a lot of barefoot horses are doing really well in endurance right now.
Right. Just a little extra pressure, more or less?
Well, they just recover quicker.
Okay. You mentioned for the bulbs or the joints, it's less stressful?
Well, without steel on the feet, yeah, it's, I mean, you got better shock absorption. I mean, your big shock absorber here, your frog, is hitting the ground, and that's, you know.
Hitting the ground first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're putting that in, then we're just making sure everything's balanced and looks good that way.
And you say the concave part is this area right here.
Well, you're going to grow, it's going to be like a bowl on the bottom of his foot when we're done here.
Right.
So we're going to gain some depth at the front, in front of the frog here.
Okay. That's fairly hard. Is it supposed to be like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
That's left there. You most see some farriers where they trim this quite a bit, and that doesn't have to be done?
No.
You want it hard?
Never touch it. We want to grow some sole in there and get some depth in your sole there.
Okay. To make it bare feet.
Yeah.
I see.
Get that cotton bone pushed up higher off the ground.
Yeah.
Going back to the nutrition point.
Go ahead, Dana, sorry.
It's really important that you feed your horse a complete mineral, not a mineral block. Mineral blocks are devoid, mineral blocks that you normally buy from the feed store don't have copper and zinc.
Sorry.
Don't have copper and zinc in them, and those are two of the really important.
And you find those are in the minerals?
If you get a horse mineral that's designed for horses, you're going to have a high copper, zinc, manganese, magnesium in it, and that's really important for a nice quality hoof.
Okay, perfect. Let's have a look. Mark, what are you doing now?
I'm just rounding over.
Okay.
From the bottom up.
Okay, that's important. Why?
Well, it's good to round over your hoof wall all the way around because it's better for the breakover. It's easier for your horse to break over. There's nothing sharp to get caught and rip.
Okay, what's a breakover?
Why don't you talk while I'm doing this, Dana?
Well, I wanted to see what they're doing here. So.
Well, she can tell you. She can answer the questions for you. It's just trying to breathe here.
Finish up while I was trimming here. We'll have a watch. Nice and smooth. Now generally that would be fairly sharp if you put a shoe on it, right?
Right.
But you see that's quite nice and round.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect the grip or anything?
No.
Excellent. So explain the breakover, Dana. Why is it so important to a horse?
The best thing I can do is compare it to your fingernail. If you have a fingernail that's too short, the end of your fingertip is quite tender. If you have a fingernail that's too long, it's going to catch and it's likely to break, and it's going to hurt if you tear it away from your finger.
Right.
Well, the hoof wall is like our fingernails, and the sole is like our fingertip.
All right.
So if you have a nice proportion of sole to hoof wall, that means that it's usable to the horse without being too catchy. Like having the right length of fingernail for doing gardening, for example.
Right.
So you can consider what the horse's terrain is and judge the hoof wall in relationship to the sole based on that.
Right.
You don't want anything too long, because as the breakover, as the horse takes a stride and they put pressure on the hoof wall, if the hoof wall is too long, it can break away, it can chip.
Really?
And it's not a controlled way to break away, and sometimes more can break away than what you want it to do.
Right. Okay. Let's go have a look at Mark doing the back feet now. Now Mark, you doing the back feet, is there anything different you would do on the front feet versus the back feet? Or is it generally the same?
Well, on this guy, he's pretty consistent all the way around, so
yep.
we're being pretty consistent with that. It really depends on the horse, how I approach it.
Okay.
And what he needs.
Okay.
We don't approach any horse, the same as the last one.
Okay.
So for his needs, I mean, whoever's been training him before has been doing a pretty nice job. He's really quite balanced and all that. Just really been trimmed flat, which is pretty normal if it's been a farrier that's trimming them, because they don't do an actual barefoot trim. So
now
trim flat.
Okay. Do you see anything problems or issues with the back feet there, maybe that Dana would have pointed out earlier?
This frog has some bacterial infiltration, so we're going to have to treat that.
Okay. So what do you do to treat that?
Well, we're going to start out with a tea tree and oregano oil combination.
Okay. Is that something you follow up regularly on, or one treatment will do it?
No, we do that. Well, it's nice if you can do it every day if you're around.
Okay.
For a week or two. And see if
so 2 weeks straight, we'll look after it?
Usually
we're hoping.
1 or 2 drops is all it takes.
All right. So Mark's going to apply the tea tree oil, oregano oil, right now. A bit of a bacterial infection on the back foot. Kind of common.
It's right at the very back of the frog here, where you see where it's been, looks like it's been eaten in.
Yeah. Okay. Now is that going to grow back?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to try and kill what's ever in there. I'll give him a chance to grow it back.
Well, if you're trying to kill what's in there, you should probably introduce him to my wife's cooking. That'd be all right.
So I'll just put a little in there and then just really work it in.
Okay.
So we can get in really deep into all the cracks and grooves.
Yep.
And,
whoop.
He's relaxing now.
A little bit of gas there.
Yeah.
The frog grows at a much faster rate than the sole, and the sole grows at a faster rate than the wall.
Okay.
That's a pretty good looking foot.
Go back to Dana. Sorry, say it again, Dana. I missed that.
The frog grows back very quickly.
Yep.
So if you do have a fungal or bacterial infection in the frog, it can quickly remedy itself. You'll expect it to grow out a lot faster than the hoof wall grows. The sole also grows a little bit faster than the hoof wall as well, but it does also wear down more.
Okay. So we're almost done with the trimming. What's after the trimming now?
Beer.
Beer? Okay.
Hot chocolate.
So now, yeah, no kidding. So now they're almost done with the trimming, Dana. What do we do after this point?
After this, we're going to fit Rexy with some boots.
Okay.
And seeing as how it's the winter time, we're going to fit him with some boots with some borium studs in there.
Yes.
And that's going to allow him to have 4-wheel drive over everything.
Very nice.
Packed snow, ice. It's going to allow him to enter his training program over the track and be very secure in his footing.
Very nice.